Kevin Hassett is back with us,
Hi.
White House Council of Economic Advisors. So you were telling us how someone in your office is driving an Uber right now while you guys are out and not getting paid. And what I was wondering was, when you calculate later on, we look down the road and we do all the revisions for GDP. So then did that person earn two incomes during this time? And do we see the effect of that? And then the flip side of the coin, so there are people who say the revenue is lost because if people aren't at work in D.C., they're not, at their place, and they don't buy the sandwich at the shop that's right next to the White House. They're not going to buy two sandwiches when they come back to work. So how do you sort through those different events?
Right. Well, things are a little bit different now. First, the micro costs, the actual pain or microeconomic costs of the pain is lifted enormously because a paycheck has been missed. And so there are people who are having trouble making their rent payments, who aren't able to go out and go to a restaurant or something. And those are permanent hits to consumption. I think that the government spending side, or the macroeconomic side, what's going to happen is that I think they've been promised that they're going to get the back pay, which doesn't really help them right now when they're trying to pay the bills. But in the fullness of time, when they get the back pay, then that means that there'll be a rebound in government spending. And so what will happen will be it'll be lower this quarter and higher next quarter, assuming that this thing gets worked out by the end of the quarter.
Yeah. So how do you assess that over the long term then? I mean, because it makes it seem like, while we have compassion for the people that aren't getting their paychecks at the time, that it does mitigate it later if there's that bounce back in GDP.
Right, and there are many steps that people can take. That they should contact their supervisors in order to help them with the federal credit unions making low interest loans and so on. But in the fullness of time, this should not have a long run effect on GDP growth. It's something that is going to be very painful this quarter. But hopefully, once the thing's resolved, and we're very disappointed that the Democrats didn't show up to negotiate today. But as soon as it's resolved, then people get their paychecks, and the government will go back to acting normal, and the economy will go back to the 3% growth that President Trump's policies have delivered.
When you say go back to acting normal, we don't know that we've seen normal for a while here. I mean, the sides are so far divided. Having them the other side not come to the table at the White House today, I mean, what's the plan? Because to the average American watching the show, you see day 25, and it seems like everybody is more dug in than ever before, and there's no progress being made. What happens next?
Right, and I know how frustrated Americans are with this. The fact is that the president and the team, they've made an offer, a good offer, a reasonable offer. They've not received a counteroffer. They tried to set up a lunch. The Democrats wouldn't show up to lunch. The fact is that many of the Democrats that are freshmen ran, on an agenda that basically said, we need to work together and focus on America's problems. We agree, but Nancy Pelosi apparently doesn't, and that's one of the reasons why we're stuck where we are right now. And so, I would urge the Democrats to reconsider, to come, because, the workers, the government workers that aren't getting pay are feeling the pain, and it's going to really affect the economy as well. And so it's time for them to come negotiate.
Well, they say they're putting things on the table to reopen government and at least move down that road, and that now Mitch McConnell is standing in the way of that. How do you guys respond?
Right. Well, they could have showed up at lunch today and talked about their plan to get through this, and they decided not to come. And that's, I think, a more clear indication of where they are.
All right, Kevin, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Thanks for having
it.
me.
Kevin Hassett, thank you.